Hello, everyone, and welcome to D2C Dialogues. Today, we have with us Anurag Kedia, co-founder of the D2C brand Pilgrim. Their LinkedIn profile goes like this. Pilgrim is an innovative and one of the fastest growing D2C businesses in the beauty space. Founded by serial entrepreneurs from IIT Bombay and IIM Ahmedabad, it offers a dynamic, fast-paced, and fun culture to be a part of. Welcome to D2C Dialogues, Anurag.
Thank you, Udesh. Very happy to be here and speaking with you and the viewers.
The first question that comes in my mind, being from IIM and IITs, what made you jump into the entrepreneurial space, number one, in that D2C, and in D2C, you ventured into the beauty products. So what was the genesis behind this idea of Pilgrim?
So Hitesh, you've asked 3-4 different questions. Let me try and answer all 3-4. One, why did I become an entrepreneur? I think there is a manufacturing defect. I'm a Marwari. So I lasted only 3 years of corporate career. And after that, you can't hold a Marwari for too long in a corporate career. And that's what happened, I think. Jokes apart, I actually didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I come from a business background, but had seen the struggles. And one of my friends, batchmates from IIT Bombay and IIM Ahmedabad called me one day saying that he was looking to start out. And we got chatting and, it got interesting. And that's how in 2004 is when I graduated from IIM Ahmedabad, and 2007 is when I had my last job, and I quit, and both of us joined hands with a third co-founder to start a chain of spas called Four Fountains. This is 2007. So from 2007 to 2018, I was running a chain of spas, salons, Ayurveda clinics, hair and scalp clinics, different kinds of beauty and wellness formats. So after running these formats for 12, 13, and these were typically service offerings, where there was a physical center where the customer had to visit to take the service. After running them for 12, 13 years, I thought, why not get into products? Because products allow you to reach a lot more consumers in a much, much faster manner. And domain to beauty wellness ka hi aata tha, aur kuch aata nahi tha. So isliye it was a very natural choice that I will get into either beauty or wellness. And beauty looked like an exciting space. So kapde bechna, chashme bechna, joote bechna, ye to hame aata hi nahi tha. So aata hi beauty wellness tha. So that was an obvious choice ki we'll do something in beauty wellness. In this journey of 12, 13 years of spas and salons, the good fortune I had was I interacted with more than 5-10,000 consumers one-on-one, understanding what they need from a beauty brand. And the one common thing we were seeing across is a lot of consumers were buying, imported brands, as they're called in India. When they were traveling abroad for their vacation or for a work trip, they were carrying back a lot of products and they were saying, "Ye sab India mein nahi milta hai." That had started to change slowly, especially with Nykaa. Nykaa started bringing a lot of international brands exclusively to India early on. But by the time they came to India, they became very expensive. Because, $10-15 abroad might be not a lot of money, but in India, $15 is 1,200-1,300 rupees, which is not as India friendly, I will say. It may not be luxury, but it is not as India friendly where you can reach a large part of the population. The second problem we were seeing was many of these brands were around for 20-30 years, and hence their DNA was such that they were monologue brands. They would act like experts and they would tell the consumers what the consumers wanted. Today's consumers are slightly different. They are saying, we will co-create with the brand. Hum brand ke saath milke banayenge. So they want to have a dialogue with the brand. So this is a very new age phenomenon, I think. And old brands, could have a monologue and still be large and successful. And they continue to largely operate in that way. Not just us, any new age brand, any digital first brand will be a dialogue brand where they are co-creating with consumers. And the better job you're able to do of this co-creation and engaging with the consumers, the more successful or the larger the company can potentially become if you're offering the right products.
We'll come to that co-creation part, Anurag. I think that's very interesting. But just before we come to that, I would like to hear from you, what was that eureka moment when you decided, okay, now this is the time to leave my corporate job and venture into entrepreneurship and start Pilgrim? So that any particular incident or the moment that was the turning point for you to decide, yes, this is the time now?
So I was already an entrepreneur. Like I said, till 2018-19, I was running a chain of spas and salons. So when I decided to get into products, beauty was natural. The difference was, I didn't know what to do in beauty. So I started speaking to consumers. And like we were discussing earlier, a lot of consumers were saying, we like these international beauty products, but either they are not available in India or they become very expensive. So then, and Korean beauty, Korean everything was very big. If you see Korean
Yes,
beauty, Korean drama, Korean pop. And
absolutely.
yeah, and Korean government was doing so much effort to export everything K globally. And then we said, is this a very Korean related phenomenon, or is this happening with other parts of the world also? That Korean beauty is going international. Are other parts of the world also having something unique? Then we looked at India itself. India has Ayurveda. Ayurveda has started going global. We looked at Japan. Japan is this concept of J beauty. J beauty is going global. So one of the challenges which was there was that even if you had good products and a good brand, distribution was a big challenge. What has happened with the advent of online commerce or e-commerce is distribution in any part of the world is solved for. So if your brand and product offerings are relevant to the consumers, distribution is not the biggest worry today. And hence we said, can we not bring all of these different beauty traditions from different parts of the world? Korean beauty, Japanese beauty, French beauty, Australian rainforest beauty. Hitesh, you're on mute in case you're saying something.
No, please carry on. Sorry.
So all of these beauty traditions, can we marry and bring them under one umbrella? And that's how Pilgrim was born. And why the name Pilgrim? If you look at the word Pilgrim, typically it means a traveler in the context of religion. So you are going from place to place, looking or seeking truth about yourself, about God. For us, the religion is the religion of beauty. So Pilgrim as a brand is going from country to country, place to place. And we are looking for beauty ingredients, beauty traditions, beauty rituals, and bringing them to the Indian audience. And that's why the name Pilgrim.
So, Anurag, everybody knows the beauty and the personal care market in India is extremely fragmented, competitive, cutthroat. How does Pilgrim differentiate itself from other players? Because everyone has, like you mentioned, Ayurveda. Uh, there are n number of players in the market who talk about various positioning statements. So, how does Pilgrim position and really differentiates itself from the competition?
It's a very valid question, Hitesh. I think Pilgrim is very unique and innovative, not just in India, even globally. If you look at our products or product ranges, there is no brand in India which offers a red wine from France-based range. Our anti-aging range uses red wine from Bordeaux in France. There is a range from Spanish olives. There is an ingredient which is called squalane, which is derived from Spanish olives. So we have a squalane-based range. We have an Australian kakadu plum-based range. There is an ingredient called patwa, which comes from Amazon rainforest. We have a patwa keratin-based range, which comes from Amazon rainforest. Then we have volcanic lava ash, white lotus in Yugdugu, which we source from Jeju Islands in Korea. So there is no brand in India or globally which offers you these exotic international ingredients, which are also very high on efficacy. So it is not just that these ingredients are rare and difficult to get. They're also proven to be very high on efficacy for skin and hair. And that's what we are bringing to the Indian audience. In fact, even when we have started going to some international market, this is a very unique proposition which no other brand in the world is offering.
So then, Anurag, with this kind of exotic ingredients, I think your product may be or is a little for the upmarket category or segment. Who is your TG and how do you reach out to them?
So, thankfully, we have managed to keep prices very India friendly, if I can call it so. So, product range starts from 200 to 50 rupees and goes up to, around 1,000 rupees. And many of our serums, etc., which are our most popular products, our face creams, are around 500 rupees, which a typical Indian consumer will not have a issue in kind of buying. That price point is very India friendly. If you look at our target audience, we are a gender neutral brand, which means we have products both for men and women. 18 to 35 is the core target audience we have, but we also see a lot of consumer love from 35 to 55-year-old women, because we are able to distribute nationally. We get 75% of our business comes from the top 100 towns, and the other 25% comes from beyond the top 100 towns also. So, e-commerce allows us the flexibility to reach to every part of the country and have a very, very wide distribution. These consumers are typically, very active on social media, and either have already traveled internationally, physically or mentally. So, many of them have already gone, for a vacation, or if they have not gone, they have spent
Seen.
enough time on social media to see what's happening internationally, in terms of vacations, in terms of food, in terms of sights and scenery, in terms of culture, and in terms of beauty traditions. So,
Since you mentioned social media, I just want to know how has the digital first approach helped you shape your marketing strategy? Because you are a D2C brand. And then we'll talk about the offline part. But how has this shaped your marketing strategy?
so there is this very popular saying in marketing, Hitesh, which says that 50% of our marketing doesn't work. We don't know which 50%. I think digital allows you to identify which 50%. And then,
Okay.
yeah, so when you start a campaign, the campaign algorithms are such that they continuously optimize themselves. Even if the algorithms are not optimizing, you can, manually intervene and optimize. And hence, digital allows any new age brand like us, which is very, very young, much, much smaller compared to the larger MNCs, to have an effective reach to the consumers who are looking for product like ours. So we may not be relevant to all the 150 crore consumers of India. We may be relevant to, some of them. And not all products will be relevant to even all of them, the population which is interested in Pilgrim as a brand. So digital as a medium allows us to identify which consumer is looking for what kind of product and effectively reach them at a cost which is viable for a young brand like ours. 100% of our marketing spends are on digital. We don't do any marketing spend offline, even when we have seen a fair bit of scale now.
Okay. Here I want to ask you in the middle of this interview is what is Pilgrim? How do you define Pilgrim?
So Pilgrim is a traveler. It's a beauty curator traveling across the world and bringing the best of natural and scientific ingredients from around the world and offering it to India to create very powerful, efficacious formulations for the Indian audience.
For the Indian audience. Now, Anurag, why I asked this is we have seen you spoke about the 100 towns and 100 cities and as the 50% marketing advertising reach. What will be your future or current strategy? Are you planning from an online to an offline, or you have already done that? Can you throw some light on that part of the offline retail?
Yeah. So we started going offline around 12 months back. And India has a very large general trade beauty outlets. Many of us, are not exposed to that channel, but a large part of, beauty sale in India happens through these beauty outlets, also called as cosmetic stores, fancy stores. And there are close to 35 to 40,000 such outlets in India. Many of them will also allow you to keep a brand representative, which is called a beauty advisor, who will then counsel you to identify which product will suit your beauty needs the best. So I'm happy to share that we are already present with a beauty advisor in close to 900 such outlets as we speak. We are also present in around 2000 non-assisted counters, which means where a brand representative may not be there, but the products are available. And these are spread across close to 50, 60 towns pan India, across all regions. And we are going deeper. So as we speak, every month we are adding a couple of towns. And offline is a very big focus area for the company and for us. And 20% of our sales already comes from the offline channels. And by the end of this calendar year, by December 2024, we think around 1/3 of our sales will start coming from the offline channel.
Excellent. So within 12 months' time, your market share has gone to 20% in offline.
Yeah,
And
for
this
the
is the
company, 20% of the sales is coming
of the
from.
sales. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
So I
yes.
think that's what the beauty of offline is, and this is where I think most of the D2C brands are now moving towards, expanding their physical presence across the country. And Pilgrim is the classic example that it's not only a digital first brand or a D2C brand that goes and stays only online, but at one stage, if you want to grow, you will have to come offline and expand physically also across the country. With this, I think I want to ask you what were the biggest challenges and what are the biggest challenges you are facing currently?
Yeah, so I think managing a large team is my personal challenge. Now our team is more than 1,000 people. At the head office itself is close to 100 people. Then we have a regional office in Noida that has around 25, 30 people. Our offline sales team is distributed across close to 15, 20 cities, pan India. We also have beauty advisors who are a part of our team. We have a customer support team, which we call as the customer delight team. That's a 50-member team. So how to continuously engage with this 1,200, close to 1,200 people team, and enable them to deliver their best, enable them to be more productive every day, to be of service to our customers. I think that is one of the challenges which I'm personally grappling with and learning every day along with the team. Otherwise, I think consumers have shown us a lot of love. And that has been, we're very grateful to our consumers for all the love and blessings which they have showered on the brand.
Well said. One is the internal customer, that is the employee, and the other is the external customer to whom we sell and market our products and services. But the challenge of the internal challenge is far more bigger, is what I could assess, which is common to any brand, whether it's young or old, to manage such a huge workforce. What kind of technologies do you use, or where all you use technology, whether in HR, marketing, IT, supply chain? And today, technology is a backbone for any business, and so would be yours. If you can throw some light there as well.
Yeah. So we're very, very heavily, reliant on technology. My co-founder, Gagandeep, he leads the technology and the analytics division of the company, and we've done a lot of work in every part of the organization, right? So, right from concept development of the product, we use technology and data through different tools available to identify what are the consumers looking for. Then, even before a product is developed, we do testing, A/B testing on what concepts will work, again using technology. Once a product is launched, the entire supply chain management, whether it is the warehouse management, demand prediction, logistics, fulfillment, delivery management, all of that is technology enabled for us. We have an ERP for our finance and accounts team, so they are completely online, and they can work from anywhere, anywhere in the world practically. And all of these pieces of technology talk to each other. We are also using and building some AI tools. There is an alchemist army which the company is building, which is our own internal AI army, which will impact different parts of the organization. So there are tools we are building for marketing team. There are tools we are building for the supply chain team. There are tools we are building for the analytics team. And some of it is already under use. Some of it is a work in progress, and they will go live in a couple of weeks.
Excellent. I think this is a tech-heavy organization, Anurag. That's the not only the backbone. I think it will soon become the forefront of the organization. At the beginning, you spoke about co-creation, and that's where I said, okay, we'll discuss about it. How do you co-create your products with the stakeholders, and what is your product strategy in that sense?
Yeah. So right from identification of which products to launch, Hitesh, we get a lot of consumer feedback on a daily basis. We get a few thousand chats, WhatsApp messages, emails, phone calls, which our team attends to, and the reviews which the consumers are posting on different marketplaces, which we continuously analyze. There are also polls and surveys which we run on our social media to identify what consumers are looking for. On our website, we run polls and surveys to identify, what the consumers want. Then the search data which is available on our website, what are consumers searching for on our website. Many a times they will find a product listed already, but sometimes the search is blank. So in which case we know that these are the products the consumers are already looking for. So in this manner, we analyze data from different parts of the organization and then look at our NPD or the new product development pipeline to come up with products which are relevant to the consumers. Even when the product development starts, a lot of our testing happens with our existing consumers where we send out samples and ask feedback, whether they like the product or not. How does it compare with the existing products which the consumers are using, which is called as blind testing. So many a times, we try and collect a lot of data from consumers in this entire, and then even post launch, we collect a lot of feedback saying, how is the consumer feedback? Are they liking it, not liking it? Are there any improvement areas on specific parameters? And it's an ongoing cycle. So the co-creation is right from the time we identify what products to launch, what price points, what kind of benefits, what textures, what sensorials. When the product brief goes to the NPD team and the actual products are coming out as samples, testing of those, and then post-launch feedback collection and any improvements which may be required. So there is a lot of co-creation in this entire product launch cycle.
Anurag, one more question that I wanted to ask you is, what was the math that you must have definitely done along with your co-founder that convinced you to enter into the beauty segment of the Indian market?
Yeah. So the one interesting thing we observed, Hitesh, was that the online beauty market was some 7,000-8,000 crores 4-5 years back. Now that number is much higher. It's probably close to 18,000-20,000 crores. And online, many of the legacy brands were not succeeding. So the brands which were selling offline were not the brands which had dominant market share online. Online, the new age brands were winning the game. So this was one of the very interesting trends. And we had realized that this 7,000-8,000 crore market then online itself would be growing to 20,000 crores. And this additional 12,000 crores of spends which will happen online, a large part will go to new age brands or digital brands. So if we were one of them, we could have taken a market share from there, and that's the math we did. And and we are not going to stop here at 20,000 crores, right? That's probably the market size today. This 20,000 crore will become 30-40,000 crores in another couple of years.
I think that makes it, the math is right, 100 out of 100, Anurag.
Thank you, Desh.
Last question before we go to the rapid fire round. Nothing happens without vitamin M. And how have you managed to, manage money investments in your startup? And if you can take us through that journey, because I'm sure like others also, you must also have faced your ups and downs in raising capital.
Yeah. So one, as an organization, Hitesh, we are very frugal. So we don't overspend on anything. We hire people only when there is a real need. And slowly is how we have built out the team. When we started the company, there were exactly 5 people in the team, including me and my co-founder Gagan. So there were only 3 other team members, and the 5 of us were building the company almost for, I think, 10 or 12 months. After which we added a couple of team members. So we've been built very, very frugally. At the same time, we have had a lot of support from our investors. Fireside Ventures is one of our early backers. They led the first institutional round of funding which we raised. Since then, we have raised 2 more rounds, and Fireside has been a part of all the 3 rounds. We also have other investors like Vertex Ventures, which is Singapore government's venture capital arm, and Narottam Seksaria Family Office, which is Mr. Seksaria's family office. So these 3 are the key investors, and they've all 3, and there are many more, but these 3 are the prominent investors we have, and they've all been very, very supportive in this entire process. So I will say we have been a little fortunate and lucky that we have not had a lot of struggle in raising capital. Whenever we have tried to do a fundraise, the round has been oversubscribed, which means that whatever capital we were looking for, more capital was available, and we had to politely decline that we couldn't take more capital than what was needed.
Good. And Anurag, you are fortunate because fortune favors the brave.
Thank you.
With this, we go to the rapid fire round. I'll just ask a couple of questions, Anurag. If you had to describe Pilgrim in 3 words, what would they be?
International, efficacious, and friendly.
what's the first product you would recommend to a new customer and why?
Yeah, I'd like to recommend two products here, one for hair and one for skin. Our advanced hair growth serum is the product want to recommend for hair. And I personally use it. I started, I started experiencing hair thinning around 10 years back, and you can still see that I still have some hair left. That's because I've been a regular user of our advanced hair growth serum. And the second is our Squalane Glow Moisturizer, which uses squalane from Spanish olives. And this has a very good hydrating blend, which also, fights dull skin and gives a glow a very natural looking glow on the skin. So this covers both. And again, I'm a regular user of the glow moisturizer as well. So this covers like both parts, hair and skin. And there are many more I'd like to recommend, but since you asked for one, I've taken the liberty to suggest two.
And I can see the effect here itself, Anurag, both at the hair level and at the face skin level.
Thank you, Tesh.
Second one, if you could collaborate with any global beauty brand, which one would it be?
So beauty brand, I don't know, but personality, if
Yeah,
that's
okay.
Yeah. So I'm now in my 40s. And when I was growing up, Aishwarya Rai was the epitome of beauty, right? So if there is one person I'd love to collaborate is Aishwarya Rai. I think
Sure.
for many of us, she still continues to stand for the perfection in beauty.
What's the best compliment that you have got from a customer?
Yeah, it works.
Arre
It
wah.
changed my life. I think that's a repeated compliment we keep getting. That I've tried many products and they didn't work, but when I tried Pilgrim, it worked. So, and it changed my life, especially, for women when they're losing hair. So we'd done a survey, we realized that women are less worried about wrinkles than hair loss. And you will see this with women in your office also. A few fine lines here and there, they're okay. They will say, "Yaar, with age, with age, this is acceptable." But if they lose their hair, whether it's a 10-year-old girl or whether it's my mom who's 75 years old, they are very, very worried. Nobody wants to lose hair, especially women. So I think we've been very fortunate to impact the lives of many of our consumers by helping them prevent hair loss.
Fantastic. Second penultimate question. What's the best piece of advice you have received as an entrepreneur?
So not just as an entrepreneur, but as a person, somebody I looked up to as a mentor told me once, this too shall pass. Ye bhi chala jayega. So the good time we are experiencing will also pass, and the bad times we experience also pass. And what Bhagavad Gita teaches us, that if you can be in the center and not get swayed by both the good things which are happening and the bad things which are happening, but just witness them both and continue doing what we have to do, continue doing our job. I think that's one of the best pieces of advice which has stuck with me.
Excellent advice. And with this, we end the rapid fire question. But last question is, where do you see Pilgrim 5 years down the line?
Yeah, so 5 years down the line, while there are some financial targets, etc., what we want to definitely achieve is we want to be one of the most loved consumer brands, not just in India, but globally. We already started exporting to close to 7-8 countries. In the next 5 years, we definitely see this number going up to at least 25 or 30. And we want to have a sizable consumer base globally and not just in India. That's one of the aspirations we have.
Excellent, Anurag. That was fantastic. With this, we come to the end of this D2C dialogue with Anurag Kedia, founder of Pilgrim. Thank you very much for sharing your insights, your ideas, your vision, and your passion with us, Anurag. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hitesh. It's been a pleasure.